The great German car manufacturer BMW can trace its origins back into the last century. In the 1930s, it built some of the world's best sports and luxury cars. It recovered from destruction in World War II and financial reversal in the 50s. By the early 70s, it was once again a major factor in the world high-performance and luxury market. The name BMW, Bavarian Motor Works, was first registered in March 1916 by a company that manufactured aircraft engines. It would continue to manufacture them into the 1930s and make a major contribution to Adolf Hitler's development of superior military technology. The company's first major success was a Max Fritz-designed six-cylinder inline engine that powered German fighters in World War I. The German aces Ernst Udet and Manfred von Richthofen, the Red Baron, owed much of their success to BMW engines. After the war, the Treaty of Versailles banned the production of aircraft engines in Germany. BMW turned to agricultural machinery. But the genius of Max Fritz continued to make its mark. His six-cylinder BMW aircraft engine was part of a winning tradition. He'd also designed the engine that won the 1914 French Grand Prix for Mercedes. In 1919, his six-cylinder BMW aircraft engine powered a DFW biplane on an amazing flight which reached an altitude of 32,000 feet. Meanwhile, the BMW name had been sold to another company, which intended to produce brakes for railway carriages. It was bought back by one of BMW's original investors, and in 1923, the reconstituted BMW released the revolutionary R32 motorcycle. The R32's twin-cylinder engine was designed by Max Fritz. Power was transferred to the rear wheel by a shaft rather than a chain. The R32 set the pattern for the classic BMW motorbike. In 1924, BMW entered the R32 in competition. Success was immediate. BMW wanted to produce its own cars, but it didn't want to rival the large Daimler Benzes of the time and decided on something small. The Eisenach-Dixie Company was producing a German version of the popular British Austin 7 under license. BMW decided to take over the Eisenach-Dixie Company. It raised the money, and in late 1928, the little 315 Dixie, with its tiny 750cc engine and 47 miles an hour top speed, became BMW's first car. The company had been in debt before raising the money for the Dixie takeover, and the Dixie Company itself had hidden debts. But sales of the tiny Dixie were good. In Britain, the low price of the Austin 7 had brought car ownership within reach of a new part of the market. In Germany, the Dixie did the same thing. It was just the car for the Depression. It sold in thousands. The Dixie was very basic transport, but it gave BMW a start in the world of four wheels. It looked like anything but a competition car, yet Dixie owners were extremely keen to try them out on the racetrack. Amazingly, a Dixie even won its class in the 1929 Alpine Rally. The Allies dropped the ban on German aircraft engines in 1922. And 10 years later, BMW engines powered a Dornier flying boat on a record-breaking round-the-world flight. BMW had moved into car manufacture and was once again building aircraft engines. But it hadn't forgotten motorbikes. The R2 motorbike continued the BMW pattern of horizontally opposed twin engines and shaft drive. But a new factor was about to affect BMW's fortunes. By the time Hitler came to power in 1933, BMW had withdrawn from the agreement with the British Austin Company to produce the German version of the Austin 7. It had attempted, without great success, to produce a small car of its own design. It had also developed a six-cylinder engine, and in the first year of the Nazi regime introduced its 303 sedan. Hitler was more interested in aircraft than cars, and BMW's successful aircraft engines attracted his support. A BMW radial engine powered the successful Junkers Ju-52 transport aircraft. BMW cars were manufactured at Eisenach. Aircraft engines were built at Munich. The staff of the Munich factory increased from 2,800 in 1932 to 12,500 in 1934. Cars were not as politically important as aircraft engines, but the development of BMW automobile technology was rapid. BMW's first sports car, the 315-1, had the six-cylinder engine of the sedans fitted with 3 Solex carburetors. Its elegant styling underlined BMW's seriousness about performance. BMW guaranteed that this car could exceed 75 miles an hour. The 315 two-seater was built in 1935 and 1936. Only 242 were produced, but they set the pattern for the great BMW cars that were to follow. Not all BMWs were elegant sports machines. The 319 sedan, produced between 1935 and 37, was a practical family car. But BMW was moving toward the top end of the market. This is the handsome 326 Cabriolet of 1936. The classic body styling of the 326 made it the major attraction of the 1936 Berlin Motor Show. It wasn't intended to be a sports car. It was designed to appeal to Mercedes customers. It was the most successful BMW of the 30s. and a total of almost 16,000 were sold between 1936 and 1941. The 326 offered its buyers hydraulic brakes, torsion bar rear suspension, newly designed independent front suspension, and a strong box frame, which replaced the previous BMW sedan chassis. It was available in open and closed versions, and had an excellent top speed of around 70 miles an hour.